What if we have a biased coin? A coin biased such that the probability of head turning up on the coin is say 0.7. If a coin is not biased, an unbiased coin, the probability of a head is half, 0.5. But if there is a coin which gives head 70% of the times, that is a biased coin. What if you have a biased coin and then the probability of getting at least one head on that biased coin? Probability of getting at least one head is 1 minus probability of all tails. Sorry, it is, yes, probability of all tails is equal to probability of at least one head. Now, let us find out the probability of getting all tails. Probability of getting all tails in 3 successive throws. You have 3 successive tosses of a coin, which is biased. Now, 3 successive tosses, which is all tails means getting T, T, T. First time to get it T, what is the probability? 0.3. 0.3 is the probability of getting a tail because probability of head is 0.7. Next time getting a tail again is 0.3. Again getting a tail is 0.3. 0.3 into 0.3 into 0.3. 3 cube, 27 and 3 places left, 0.027. 1 minus 0.027. Probability of at least one head, this should be 1 minus 0.027, which would be 0.973. 0.973 is the probability of getting at least one head on a coin biased such that 70% of the times it shows head. And now in general, if you have to take in a biased coin, probability of head is n, probability of tail should be 1 minus n. Say probability of tail should be 1 minus n, and whatever be the number of times it is repeating, n and 1 minus n have to be used. Okay? Now, the question might also be a little different. What is the probability of having head in the first trial? What is the probability of having head in the first trial only? Then you have to consider, say, you can solve by probability or go by base. In how many ways, say on an unbiased coin, what is the probability of having head on the first trial? The total number of ways that can happen, first time I have 2 ways, head or tail, next time I have 2 ways, next time I have 2 ways. These are the total number of ways. I have 8 ways, 8 results are possible. Out of that, first time I should have head, so 1 by 2. Next time I can have head or tail, so 2 by 2. Next time I can have head or tail, or 2 by 2. This is the value, which is again 1 by 2. Because whatever be the number of trials, you are bothered only about the first trial. When you are bothered only about the first trial, you have to think only about the first trial. The words are put in that fashion just to get us confused. No, the examiner also needs something. So, moving ahead, we have dice. Very common questions on dice. So, say you have 2 successive throws of a dice. A dice has 6 sides and each side is numbered dots from 1 dot to 6 dots. Now, on 2 successive throws of a dice, what is the probability that the sum of the values is 7? Probability of getting 7 on throws, 2 successive throws of a dice or on 2 dice thrown together. On dice. Okay. When this is the case, you can have 7 by how many ways? That is, the first one can be 1, next one 6. The first dice can turn up to show 1, the next one can show 6, then you have a sum of 7. Then you might have 6, 1, that is first one 6, next one 1. Then you have 2, 5, 5, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3. These are the ways in which you can get sum 7. I have 6 ways. 6 ways are possible. And the total number of ways that are possible are, first dice I have 6 options, next dice also I have 6 options. 6 into 6, 36 ways the results can happen. 36 different values are possible. 36 different ways are there, out of which 6 are favorable. That is 6 times I get sum as 7. 6 out of 36, that is 1 by 6 is the probability of getting sum 7. Probability of sum 7. This is a very common question for different sums. So what we will be doing is, there is a different type of question on this also. Which number has the maximum probability of turning up? What is the most probable sum on 2 throws of a dice? So such questions also we have. So to clarify our understanding, make it more clear, we'll just see what are the different sums possible. The first dice can show 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the second dice can also show 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The sum becomes 1, 1, 2 here, 2, 2, 4, 3, 3, 6. So you make a small table like that. What is the probability of getting each of these sums? That is, you just have to count the number of times 2 appears in the table, number of times 3 appears in the table, number of times 4 appears, and so on. Divided by total number of possibilities, 6 into 6, 36. That is another exercise you can do back home. Moving further to cards, we have common questions on cards also. A pack of cards has 52 cards. You have numbers from 1 to 9. 4 such sets. You have 4 sets of numbers from 1 to 9. You have kings. You have queen. You have half of the cards red, you have half of the cards black. Out of this 52 cards, 26 red, 26 black. Now a question might be such that you take out two cards successively. What is the probability that both the cards are queens? Both the cards are queens, or both the cards are kings, or jack, whatever. You have 4 options here. Now, what is the probability that both the cards are queens? Then, first place, I had 4 queens of the total pack, 4 favorable out of 52 cards. Next place, I had 3 queens left because 1 queen has already come. 51. This should be the probability of 2 queens in a row. What is the probability of getting 2 black cards in a row? Probability of 2 black cards in a row would be, first black card I have 26 by 52 probability. Next black card I have to choose 1, that is how many are left. 1 black card is removed, so 25 black cards are there out of 51 into 25 by 51. This is the probability of having 2 black cards in a row. So variations of this, you should just know what this set is, a set of cards is, and for all the variations of it, if it is happening one after the other, multiply. If it is happening in parallel, add. It is like, what is the probability of getting either a 3 or a 4? The question might be like, probability of getting 3 or 4 when a card is picked. the probability of getting 3 would be, I have 4 sets of 1 to 9. So 3 is here 4 times. 3 is here 4 times, 4 out of 52, and plus 4 is also present 4 times, 4 out of 52. So this is where you add probability of getting 3 or 4. This is adding and this is multiplying probabilities. Now, further, you have one more concept, that is, when you have a situation such that an event has happened and the happening of an event affects the event that is going to happen further. That is, an event has happened and this happening of this event gives you a different scenario situation where there is another probability. It's like a simple example I would like to give. You have an airplane in the sky. Say you look at any point in the sky, you have a bird there or an airplane. Say there is a bird or you pick an airplane. You look at some corner of the sky, you see an airplane. What is the probability that when you see there is an airplane? Say maybe 10% probability that there is a bird out there when you just look at the sky, and 90% chance that there isn't. Now, if there is an plane out there, then the probability that a radar you have, say you get a radar to detect the airplanes, if there is an plane out there, then the probability that the radar detects the airplane, what does it mean? First of all, there should be an airplane. Then the probability of the radar is coming into picture, which means after this event happens further, the probability that a radar detects is 99%, and the probability that it does not detect is 1%. Now, if there isn't a plane out there, which most of the time wouldn't be, then the probability of false alarm, the probability that the radar alarms, but still it is a flock of geese or something like that, not an airplane actually, that can also happen. So that, say it is 10%. 10%. Now in two different scenarios I have probability of the radar. That is, when there is an airplane, the probability that it detects is 99%. When there isn't an airplane, the probability that still it beeps is 10%. This is written as, say this is first scenario, airplane, A naught, if I write. This is R, radar beeps, R naught, here R naught. Here R and R naught are after A, so probability of A, if I call it, this I have to call probability of R when A has already happened. Probability of R naught when A has already happened. Probability of R when A naught has happened. Probability of R naught when A naught has happened. How does this help us? Say when you have a question that, when you have a situation where directly it is given, that is probability of radar beeping when there is an airplane present is 99% and probability of the radar beeping when an airplane is not present is 10%. This from manufacturer specs you have this. Now, you have to find out the opposite of it. Say if the radar is beeping, what is the probability that there is an airplane in the sky? If the radar is beeping, what is the probability that there is an airplane in the sky? Now, in general, what you end up here would be happening of this event and happening of this event, which is probability of event A intersection R. This you end up here means probability of A intersection R dash, probability of A dash intersection R. So these are the values that you end up with. Probability of A naught intersection R naught. And it is also a simple understanding that probability of A naught, probability of A intersection R should be equal to probability of R by A into probability of A. This is called Bayes theorem. This is called Bayes theorem. I multiplied these two to get this. That is both the events happening. Then I have probability of A intersection R. If you want to pictorially understand that, then say if you have A and B, two circles here. Now, first they tell you that event A has already happened. What is the probability that event B also happens? Out of this, I have to consider this part. Event A has already happened. Out of that, this has to be considered. Now, if I have to consider probability of B happening when A has already happened, that is the intersection part. That is the intersection part. That should be probability of A intersection B, the happening of this middle cross hatch place, divided by probability of A happening. That is, A has happened. It is a new scenario that you have. It is not the universal scenario. And after that, in that, probability of A intersection B is the probability of B happening when A has already happened. This is called Bayes theorem. Now, probability of A intersection B should be the product of these two. 0.99 into 0.1. 0.99 into 0.1 gives you 0.099. And similarly, you multiply each of these values. 1% into 10%. 0.1 into 0.01. 0.01. 90% into 10%. 0.9 into 0.1 again. 0.09. 90% into 90%. 0.9 into 0.9. 0.81. These are the different probabilities that you end up with. Now, probability of R happening. What is probability of? This was a situation. We had probability of R when A has happened. Now, what you have to find out is, if the radar is beeping, what is the probability that there is an airplane? So what you have to find out is probability of, if the radar is beeping, what is the probability that there is an airplane? A by R. For that, you have to first find out probability of R, because this, again putting into this expression, you need probability of A intersection R by probability of R. That is just replacing this by probability of A intersection R by probability of R. Now, probability of A intersection R I already have. Probability of R is what I need. Probability of R is all possible ways in which the total probability of R happening. Where does R happen? R happens here and here. So these two values added together, that the radar beeps in these two cases only. Now, 0.099 plus 0.09 is the probability that radar beeps, P of R. This together is P of R. 0.09 plus 0.099 is the probability of R, which should be 0.819. The probability of A intersection R is known, so it is simple calculation. Probability of A when R has already happened. 0.099 by 0.819. 0.819. Or you can take it to be, you can cancel out with 9. Say remove the decimal places and cancel out with 9. 9 11s and 9 9s are 81. 9 1s are 9. 11 by 91. Or it is close to 1 by 9.11. This value should be close to 0.11. Close to 11%. Approximately I have written. Now, 11% is the probability that when the radar beeps, the airplane, and there is an airplane in the sky. What does it mean? Though the manufacturer specifications tell you that 99% probability when there is an airplane present, the opposite, that is when the radar is beeping, what is the probability that an airplane is present, happens to be very small. This is where Bayes theorem helps you. When one event has already happened, what is the probability that the next happens? If what is next has already happened, what is the probability that the cause for that is the first event? Then you can use Bayes theorem.